What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, another Monday in the books, another Town Square in the books as well. This one was for October 30th, 2023. And I have my 5 biggest takeaways. I think we're going to jump right in. For those of you who may be new to the channel or new to the series, every week whenever there's a town square or town hall, this is not a full summary. I just give my 5 biggest takeaways, but there are other fantastic content creators that do a much better, I should say, deep dive into all the topics covered. These are just the 5 things that I thought were worth sharing. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Number 1, we did not get a land update, which is very disappointing considering that over the weekend, the lead land developer teased that we would be getting the date for a go live on land 1.5 this Monday. and we were blueballed once again. So, I'm, as I said during the live stream yesterday, I am still in kind of like this after dark, euphoria vacation. I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm not going to harp on this too much. But if you go back 3 months, they did the same thing, or 2 months to August, right? They did the same thing. They said, we're going to get a date for this, and then we didn't. We're going to get land live. We didn't. So it kind of feels like nothing's changed. But, at the end of the day, I'm feeling too good to spend too much time being upset about this. Now, that being said, Matt did say that land is still planning to go live this year. There is a 90% chance of it going live in November. So, as I've said before, there were only 2 weeks available in November, right? Because I don't think the last 2 weeks of November, the 21st and the 28th, and I'm looking just at the Tuesday maintenance windows, I don't believe either of those are options. The 21st is the week of Thanksgiving, which is a big holiday here in the US. And then the 28th is the week after the holiday and the week before the Rebellion sale or the Rebellion set actually launches. There's no way they're going to try to squeeze that in between a holiday and another major launch. So if we did not get a date with at least, 1 week worth of notice, again, they haven't guaranteed that. They said that they would give a notice. Then the 7th is out as well. So really, it just comes down to the 14th, which is roughly in 2 weeks. Again, I don't know if that's going to be the date, but if there's a 90% chance it's going to be in November, it's got to be that date. If we don't hear about it on the next week's town hall, I would say that 90% chance was inaccurate because it's probably going to move over to December at some point. But that being said, that's what the land update is. I don't want to spend too much time on it because then I'm just going to start to feel salty like the rest of you. So let's go ahead and jump over into number 2, which was the vintage format. And so if you've heard me talk about this in the past, I've called it something different, like a classic format, but essentially the same idea, right? It includes only non-modern sets. So once Rebellion comes out, you'll have Chaos and Rebellion in modern, but then you will have Alpha, Beta, and Untamed in this kind of like vintage or classic format, as opposed to a wild format that is everything. And so somebody brought this up to Matt. He thought that it was interesting. I think there was even conversation in Mav, in the Mav chat a little while ago about this. But one interesting thing that Matt brought up is that, well, if we do switch over to something like a vintage format, well, then starter cards wouldn't be an issue, meaning that bots wouldn't be able to use starter cards because all starter cards are in modern. So in order to play the vintage format, you would need to actually own the cards. And the reason I really like this is because of the fact that it would give value to all of the older cards, right? So you'd reduce some of the botting that would happen. I should say the bot farming that would happen. And granted, starter cards aren't really that big of an issue at the higher levels, but in bronze, it definitely sucks, right? It definitely sucks to like go up against cards that are accounts that are using cards that they don't own. But at the higher levels, that shouldn't really be an issue. So I like the idea of vintage format. Matt seemed open to it. Again, I think all this is going to come down to a proposal, and if somebody wants to push that idea forward, I'd be curious to see what the appetite for something like that would be, considering that modern, I would say by most perspectives, modern, the bot ban in modern has been quite successful. So I'd be curious to see how people would feel about vintage format. And I think I'm going to do a separate video specifically focusing on that. So keep an eye out for that because there's other things that I want to dive into regarding vintage format. Okay, number 3, This was brought up as well, and I've covered this in the past where I made a video maybe not too long ago about how I would design right pack releases. I wouldn't do them as like a major pack set and then go 18 months or 2 years before the next major pack set comes out. I would break it up so the set would still be the same, right? You'd still have like the Rebellion set, but instead of it being, you'd have like Rebellion A, B, C, and D releasing cards slowly throughout the year, every 3 to 4 months. So somebody brought that up to Matt. I think it was Icy Flow that did. And but the thing is, Icy Flow was a little aggressive with it because he's just like, release cards, release new sets every 3 months, and then have a new promo card every month. And I can understand Matt was not being in favor of that specifically because that does sound like a lot, right? I don't think we need a new promo card every month, but and my thought process was it doesn't need to be every 3 months; it could be every 4 months, and they don't need to be like new sets, right? It could just be slight design difference, slight name difference, right? You call it like Rebellion. Again, like it'll be like Rebellion Vanguard, Rebellion Cavalry, Rebellion whatever, like all these different things that you could come up with. It would just be a slight name change. You could even keep the packs very similar looking, but just give them a slightly different whatever maybe on there. But again, it wouldn't be too much. But the infrastructure to have something like this is what they don't have built, and that's what Matt was talking about. Now that being said, it's going to be another 18 months, at least I would say, until another set comes out. Obviously, whatever comes in after Rebellion, and that doesn't include the mini set sometime next year, most likely. But my hope is that if Rebellion is somewhat successful, they can maybe consider something like this to build out the infrastructure because there'll be time, and so it's just a matter of will there be resources, right? So we'll see what happens with that because I would really like to see something like that just to keep shaking up the meta. Now, Matt, the other criticism he had is he said it doesn't really matter when we get the money, right? If we get the money early on or if we get the money ongoing, because that was one of the arguments that I believe Icy Flow had said is just like it would lead to consistent revenue. So at the end of the day, if that's how they want to do it, massive pre-sales at the beginning, obviously we have to live with this. Now, Matt did say though that he would like to get back to doing promo cards every quarter, ideally, and maybe not just single promo cards, but like maybe like a small set of promo cards or something like that. Okay, number 4. Somebody asked about Rebellion packs being given away in reward chests and if there was a way that we could stop this because many of them just end up going to the bots who in turn dump them on the market because that is the only way that they can get immediate profit since everything else is either soulbound or staked. So this was an interesting thought, and Matt wasn't opposed to it. In fact, he just said, well, this is a DAO decision because the DAO is in charge of the packs. So if the DAO decides, somebody wants to put a proposal forth, that's what it's going to be. Right now, the plan is still to put them in chests simply because that's what they've always done, right? So that's the protocol, that's the standard that has been set. And if we want to change it, it would be worth a conversation and would need to require a proposal in order to do so. So I'm just putting that idea out there because I'm curious how people feel. Obviously, I love getting Rebellion packs, or I love getting packs in general in reward chests. But I can understand if there is a movement to kind of not devalue Rebellion in the same way that Chaos was, right? If we are trying to do things different, I think it's worth considering, right? And granted, what have I told you on this channel before? Like, I'm going to build up my Rebellion set through all the free packs that I get, right? I'm not buying any packs. I'm just going to build it up through Rebellion packs. I would be in favor of this, right? Or at least I would highly consider doing it and being in favor of it, even though that would totally mess up my plans and require me to go out and buy Rebellion packs. But if it helps to preserve the value of the set, well, then someone like me who doesn't want to buy packs will be a little bit more open to the idea of actually buying packs because I'm like, all these safeguards are put in place, right? The airdrop conflicts, airdrop conflicts, all these other things that they've done to change it up. Airdrop conflicts. What else did they do? There's less of no more major sales as what Matt is committing to. There's less of a bonus packs, or less bonus packs given out for bulk buys. So overall, it may inspire someone like me and many others who are sitting on the sidelines right now to go in because at the very least, the amount that the cards would be devalued would not be significant, right? And I say that they'll probably still get devalued because especially if you're buying in at the beginning, I think there's going to be a hype wave, right? People are going to pay a premium. There's going to be scarcity and people pay a premium, but it won't be like Chaos where it's just literally down and to the right over time. right? So again, that's just a thought. Would love to get your opinion on that. Let's dive into the last one here. So Matt did talk about the staking unlimited cards in Secret of Praetoria. There is a mechanism that he is planning for this. So I'm super excited about that. It just seems so far away. I remember there was an opportunity because somebody brought it up saying like, there was supposed to be something with guilds or something on land about like a graveyard. And then earlier this year, guilds having like unlimited staking of cards or something like that. So the idea to eat up all of these old cards, and we don't even necessarily need to burn them, but just finding a place for them, right? It's just like if it's a penny card and I can buy it, stake it somewhere, and then I'm adding to my overall, rewards that I get in game or whatever it ends up being. I think that would eat up a lot of cards off the marketplace for, very, very competitive players, no matter what the scene is, right? Whether it's in guilds, whether it's land, whether it's whatever. So it sounds like there's still a mechanism for something like this or something similar in the Secret of Praetoria. But I don't even know, we don't know when Land 1.5 is coming out. I don't know when Land 2.0 is coming out. I don't know if Secret of Praetoria and this mechanism is going to be a part of 2.0 or something later, right? 2.5, 3.0. So it just seems so far away. Again, I'm happy about the fact that this is still being considered and they do have a plan for it, right? Just to eat up a lot of the old cards off the marketplace. But it just seems so far away. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. That's the top 5. I do have a couple of bonus items for you, which I'm not going to dig into here, but just simple things. So no roadmap until next year. So people who've been asking for a roadmap, they're just not going to work on one until after Land and Rebellion are out, and then maybe they'll do some kind of planning at the end of the year or early next year and get us a roadmap for what they're going to try to accomplish in 2024. The cool thing was promo cards. So Matt's been talking about this card burning event, and one thing that people said is like, how do you incentivize people to actually do it? I think many people were turned off with the prizes that was given away in the last what's that called? In the last Great Burning, where it's just like, yes, everybody got guild power, so it was still worthwhile. You still got something for your DEC, but the prizes, especially with the whale activity that happened, it was a bonus, and most people didn't get anything, myself included. Right. So how do you make it worthwhile? Well, Matt said maybe they do promo cards and maybe we get what we're asking for, where it's this whole idea of, hey, you take 5 common cards, you burn them, and you get to mint a BCX. You get a guaranteed BCX of this promo card. That could be pretty cool, right? And we've talked about it for Rift Watchers with a proposal that didn't pass, but I like the fact that it seems as though Matt is paying attention and trying to incorporate some of the ideas, whether he's thinking about them on his own or whether he's listening to us and the community. I like the fact that that is now on the table. And then finally, this might be interesting, but obviously we had our After Dark Fest in Atlanta this past week, and I actually got on the town square, spoke to Matt directly over the phone or voice chat, and I told him it was really re-energizing for a lot of us. We were super excited. We all came away with a fantastic experience. I asked Matt, and I believe he's in Philly. If he's not, then we'll find out where he is exactly. But I told him, I was just like, if we were to plan something, an unofficial meetup, right? So this would not be Splinterlands official. They would not have anything to do with it. There's no resources required from the team. But if we were to plan something near or around where Matt is or is located, would he be willing to come out and hang with us, right? Just for an afternoon or whatever the case is. And he was totally in. So this is something that I will start planning for next year, whether we call it After Dark or something else. I mean, After Dark, we had such a fantastic time, and maybe I'll make a video kind of, you guys saw it, right? So you know exactly what went down. It was a really good vibe, a really good time, just hanging out with people who are like-minded, same interests, similar interests, and just obviously obsessed with the game. So I would love to be able to start doing that more regularly, traveling to different parts of the country, and I'm trying to figure out different, where everybody's at, or at least the people that I know personally, so that we can start planning these meetups. But I think doing something in Philly would be awesome, because it doesn't seem like a Splinterfest is anywhere close. The team needs to get their feet back under them. And so with this, it's like, well, you know what? If we all just want to get together, and I don't know how many people we all is, but I talked to Darkest Night last night, who, again, see, this is what I'm saying. Darkest Night has been on the fence. He's been on whatever, but he bought his first pack. He's feeling pretty good about Splinterlands. And it's like, I called him last night. I was like, hey, I talked to Matt on the town square, and what if we were to do a meetup in Philly or something? He's like, I'm in, right? Just, again, it's about the community. It's about being together with people. And if we can get Matt to just come out for a couple of hours, I know he's a busy guy, but if we can get him to come out for a couple hours on a weekend, I think it'd be totally worthwhile. So if you're in for something like that or interested in something like that, I'll be looking up potential dates next year and I'll try to coordinate with Matt and see what we can do. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. I tried to keep it a little bit shorter than usual, but it still ended up being 15 minutes. So appreciate you all. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.